Live from Grass Valley, California, this is Ensemble TV.
Hello and welcome to Ensemble Designs. I'm Mondae Hot and I'm here today to talk to you about 3 affordable new scan converters. Now today during the webinar we'd like to receive chat questions or calls from you, so please, you'll see the information on the screen. Feel free to contact us with any questions that you have. Okay, now you might wonder why a signal integration and management company decided to make a scan converter. And we asked ourselves that too, but we were approached by one of our reps and they had a large government customer that needed to take really high-res satellite photos and convert them to broadband video. And this rep knew that we had done such a great job with other products, up conversion and aspect ratio conversion. And the customer search in the marketplace did not find a scan converter that met their needs. And they really felt like that we could do a good job. And as we researched the market, we realized there really was room for a high quality scan converter in the broadcast market. So we came at it from a broadcaster's perspective rather than a computer perspective. When you're converting from a progressive computer signal to an interlaced video signal, there can be a lot of aliasing. And what we've done is we've written quite a few proprietary algorithms that allow us to get rid of the flicker and the aliasing without having to soften the picture. So when you get a demo of a scan converter, whether it's ours or somebody else's, make sure you ask to see it in an interlaced video output, 1080i. That's really going to tell you a lot about the scan converter and how they've done with that. And that really is, additionally, we offered the customer something that they didn't think of, and that was a 3G output. And when the customer realized how much more retention of detail they were going to have with that, they were really excited and we moved forward with the project. And that is how the original Mitto was created. Now this product is so great, it's versatile. It can do, as far as inputs, it can handle VGA, HDMI, DVI-I, and DVI-D. For outputs, you have 3 gigabit, HD, SD, and composite. We accept analog, AES, or embedded audio. Genlock, of course, and a full audio mixer with channel mixing, level adjustments, and audio delay for your Skype interviews. But we heard from a lot of customers, from a lot of people out there, that these were a lot of features, a lot of capabilities that maybe they didn't need in their application. And also they couldn't always justify it for their budget. So we decided to add new scan converters to our product line, and that's why we developed the Mitto 3G Fiber. Now you see that we added an optical output. And this is going to be great for any application where you have to go more than 100 meters. For example, sports trucks. Also, we have really unusual applications like submarines that are using fiber to feed it to the surface. And it's really great because now you're not going to have 2 different products to do this process. You have the scan converter and the fiber transmitter all in one. Now most broadcasters don't need a 3G output, and that's why we designed the Mitto HD. This is going to be perfect for you. It retains all the quality and the capabilities of the original Mitto. The only thing that it doesn't have is a 3G output. Now there's also a huge market out there for customers who don't need those really high-end audio features. Like for example the audio delay. And some of these examples would be for webcams or weather radar, possibly for houses of worship when they're displaying their hymns and you want your parishioners to be able to read those hymns. And so we developed the Mitto Pro, and this is going to be much more affordable and allow it to reach so much more of the market. Now to show us how easy it is to connect Mitto, here's Chris.
Hi, this is Chris Merrick with Ensemble Designs, and today I'm going to talk about how to hook 4 different pieces of equipment to a Mitto. First thing I'm going to show you is an iPhone. This is an iPhone 4 that you plug in an adapter on the bottom of it, like so. This adapter has an HDMI out, which plugs into the Mitto. I'm running Keynote as the application that outputs video. And when I push play on that, the presentation that's happening on the iPhone is going through the Mitto and showing up on the monitor. Okay, there it is. As I scroll around on the iPhone, I can change the slides, and my presentation is being converted to high definition. Alrighty, let's unplug this cable and actually plug it into an iPad. So the output of an iPad is always active, no matter what application you're using. So as you scroll around, and whatever you're doing on an iPad is going to be mirrored on the HDMI output. There it is on the screen. I don't like where it's positioned, so I'm going to use the front panel controls to go over to the size. I'm going to center it. And let's say I can zoom in a little bit on that. And I'm going to move the position off to the side and down a little bit so that it fills the whole screen. Okay, that's the iPad 2. Let's take an output of a MacBook Pro and plug it in the back. That's this cable here. Plug that in. And the Mac will then automatically configure itself for 2 monitors, and this monitor's output is going to be mirrored through the Mitto. There it is up on the screen, and again, I could choose to zoom and scale the output accordingly. Okay, the last thing I'm going to show you is a VGA device. This is a Tektronix waveform monitor. It has a VGA output that I'm going to plug into the back of the Mitto. So let's do that. Now, we go to the front of the Mitto and we select this control here, which allows me to switch it to VGA. Now, if you noticed, I had an adapter on the back of that cable. This is an adapter, adapts the DVI input of the Mitto to a VGA output of a device. Okay, there's our picture. And I want to do a small adjustment on that. I'm going to switch the aspect ratio on the front of the Mitto to 4:3 so that it fills the screen properly. Alrighty, that's it. Thanks for watching.
Thank you, Chris. It's amazing how easy it is to hook the Mitto up to so many different devices. Now, during that short break, we were reviewing your questions, your chat questions, and your call-ins. And here to give me that information is David Wood.
Hello, Monday.
Hi, David.
Great job.
Thank you.
I, too, am really excited about these new Mitto products that we're offering. And we have some questions from people that I want to share. I don't want to forget, though, your husband called in, and he wants you to pick up milk. You're out of milk, so don't forget that.
Well, he's a fan of my work. So.
There you go. So, Amy, we have a question from Amy who's asking about latency, and in particular with regards to Skype.
Oh, that's an interesting question.
It's a very good one, and it's one of the applications where Mitto really shines. And here, latency really manifests itself in 2 ways.
Okay.
The first is that the video conversion in Mitto, and this is true for every single Mitto product,
okay,
is very, very short. Because the input to Mitto is progressive at either a 50 or a 60 frame per second rate, the delay is only a 60th of a second, 16 milliseconds, to the processed output.
You're kidding.
I'm not, and we think that that's the shortest latency scan converter on the market.
I think you're right. I've heard from other people that they can be a frame or more.
Many more, and it's very disconcerting if someone is using a scan converter and they're doing live mouse operations. They're going to see a lot of lag between making a mouse operation and what they see on the final output.
That
so
makes
that's
a lot
gone.
of sense, right?
But that also impacts Skype latency with regard to video and talkback with people.
Right.
The other latency issue that I want to touch on has to do with audio delay.
Okay.
And that in a lot of the material that someone is putting on air using a Mitto is passing through a whole series of processing steps through the origination point, a website perhaps, transit delays on the internet, and often there can be lip sync errors between sound and picture.
Right.
So all but the Mitto Pro provide extensive audio capabilities to address that. You mentioned earlier the audio functionality to adjust levels and swap channels, but
Right.
from Mitto HD on up through the product line is variable delay to match the audio latency to the video latency to maintain good lip sync.
And that would be important for Skype interviews and YouTube videos where there might be some latency in that, inherent in that.
That's right.
Right. Great.
One more question that we had has to do with fiber. You mentioned our new Mitto with fiber has both an electrical output and a fiber output.
Right.
And so the electrical performance of Mitto follows the general standard of SDI, and it's a very, very high data rate, especially in the 3G world.
Right.
But that means on copper that the distance is limited to 70 to 100 meters.
Right.
No more than 300 feet. Fiber undoes that limitation because the built-in fiber transmitter can transmit over single-mode fiber for distances of 20 to 30 kilometers. For us mileage-challenged people, 20 miles or so. So the connections between Mitto as a generating device and other destinations like our BrightEye 72F that has a fiber input, they could be 20 miles apart and be delivering the same full resolution, high quality picture to that end.
Amazing.
All right?
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
All right, that's all our questions. If anybody else chatted in or called in the meantime, we will be responding to your questions and we'll post them online so everybody can have access to those answers. Now, the Mitto's been shipping for about 2 years, and again, we've had this great feedback, and we really listened to you about needing different capabilities and functionality in the product. And I know that these 4 Mittos are definitely going to help you out with that. If you're still trying to decide which Mitto might be right for you, I suggest looking at our website. There are all sorts of resources on here for you to choose from. There is manuals, quick start guide, application notes. There are videos showing how to connect the Mitto, and there's also live demonstrations of multiple applications. There's this handy chart here that shows you different features and everything else you could possibly ever want to know about a scan converter. And one interesting fact to note is that we're actually going through a scan converter right now. What you're seeing on your screen is going through a Mitto, of course through several other processes as well. But you can see the high quality, and I bet you're able to read those little fonts. So, oh, we have a caller. Okay.
Hello?
Hello. Who is this?
Yes, this is Glenn, and I have 2 questions.
Okay, Glenn.
One of my questions has to do with the output resolution of the screen. Is that dependent? Like, I have a crappy little screen on my laptop, but then I take it to like a much better screen added to my laptop. And does the screen resolution have anything to do with the resolution of the end product of the Mitto? And then there are lots of different scan converters. What do you do different in your filtering than, say, a Matrox or one of these other scan converters?
Well, those are really good questions, Glenn. And if you don't mind, I'm going to bring Woody back on stage to answer a couple of those. And I know you didn't hear, or did you hear this?
I did.
Okay, wonderful.
I heard Glenn's question.
So I definitely know that your monitor resolution is going to have some effect on your output. Could you go into more detail on that?
Sure. Mitto is basically sitting between the computer and the display.
Right.
So whatever resolution the computer is delivering to the display, that's the resolution that Mitto will have to work with. Now, Glenn's comment was he might have a laptop with a small display, but if he's connected a secondary output of that laptop to a larger display,
right,
and if that's the signal that Mitto is sort of intercepting, then he'll benefit from the resolution that that provides. He also asked about filtering, and I think that's a really important point, is that, you know, we think of us of being in the digital age where digital makes everything perfect.
Right.
But the fact is there are good digits and then there are better digits.
Okay.
And so the benefit that we think is particularly significant in Mitto is phenomenally high quality digital processing.
Okay.
The image that comes to Mitto from the DVI or VGA output of the computer is a 24-bit signal, 8 bits of red, of green, and of blue.
Oh, right.
The signal we're going to deliver to the output in SD or HD-SDI is a 10-bit signal, not 8 but 10. The thing, though, is that internally, Mitto is processing at 14 bits of resolution. So the care, if you will, with which we take the original content and scale it, adjust its size,
Right.
and convert it from progressive into interlace, and the filtering that's done is the highest possible quality, because we're actually working internally in Mitto at an even higher quality level than the computer delivered in the first place, and a higher level than the HD or SD-SDI standard allows in the second place.
Right, and that's why our customers love our quality so much.
That's right.
All right. Thank you, Glenn, so much for your phone call. That was great. Okay. Well, no matter what your budget, no matter what your application, I know that there's a Mitto that's right for you. My sales team looks forward to hearing from you if you have any questions. Thank you for joining us.